Yes, sir. Mod Tricka, back up in this thing, man. Today, I'll be reacting to some creepy TikToks that were hitting deep in the algorithm. Let's get it.
All right, what in the world are we looking at here? Kim Kardashian laying down in a bed with a Tesla robot. Now, you may think this is just some ordinary picture, but this might go way deep. Take a look at this article. Now, look at the picture. It kind of looks like they're trying to recreate this. Now, look at the date of this article from 2016. This article is saying that Dr. Pearson is predicting by 2025, women are going to start going to robots for their intimate needs. Now, this isn't the first time Kim Kardashian has done this. She has multiple videos and pictures of her and this robot, holding hands, her sitting on its lap, the robot taking pictures and videos of her and them doing all kinds of activities together. Now, I don't know if she's getting paid to do this by Tesla or something, or if she's just trying to push an overall narrative. Let's be real. She's one of the biggest influencers in the world, if not the biggest. So I feel like if she's posting this, it's got to be for a reason, and it's hard to believe that this is just for fun. AI and robots are becoming more and more part of our lives, and these companies obviously want human and robot interactions to be normalized, and whether they know it or not, Kim Kardashian is definitely a big factor in this becoming normalized.
I feel like this is conditioning us to get used to living side by side with robots, and Kim Kardashian is just pushing the agenda, but I almost feel bad for this Tesla bot because she might drive him crazy and have him malfunctioning like she did Kanye.
I hate how the guy was saying like Kim Kardashian, like what was he saying? How can you not say Kim Kardashian with an A? Kim Kardashian, fuck.
Judging by the green color of the fire, I would say that this is either ammonia burning or one of the Ninja Turtles is lactose intolerant and just got done eating an extra cheese pizza.
We have grown human-animal chimeras already. You have a creature that's part human and part animal. A lot of this research is not necessarily being published because it's ethically controversial, and a lot of the people that are working on it don't necessarily want public blowback. This is being done especially here in California. We're not breeding a human with an animal to get something in the middle. We're actually creating an entity that has some body parts that are pig or sheep or whatever, and other body parts that are human. We have grown animals that are pretty close to having potentially viable human organs. Theoretically, could we develop an animal that had a much more human-like brain? It seems plausible.
Humanizing the
human. What are we to make of this creature? Questions about the human soul. I think we're tinkering with systems that we barely understand, and I think the possibility of creating more human-like animals is a real one that cannot be dismissed. I'm not a vegetarian. I do eat pigs, but I don't believe it's just okay to do anything and everything I want to a pig before I slaughter it to make some bacon. The ethical treatment of animals is also an important consideration.
Let's be real. If we're just now finding out about these experiments, that means the science is probably far more advanced than we can even imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if they already have centaurs running around the lab.
It looks like all the way through the weekend, which is good news for skiers and so-so for drivers. Take a look right now. You can see the Bellingham Tower Camp showing that full moon that's out there. We had the eclipse earlier in the evening, last night I guess it is now, and it's called the worm moon this month because of the time of year the worms come out of the warming ground apparently. Then the weeds start to really pop up.
The news will show us UFO videos that can easily be faked, like the egg UFO video, and try to pass it off as real, but when they capture actual UFO evidence like this, they completely ignore it and then wonder why we think it's a psyop.
So I'm going to show you the new map of the United States of America, and you may not be able to see this very well. We have 50 states in the United States, but this is mega regions. Mega regions. Mega regions. Mega, large. Mega regions. These are the city-states. These are large cities that are being made larger. Now, remember I told you that the gray area is the wildlands. That's going to be the area that no one will have access to. And I haven't told you anything about myself. I was a legal witness, an expert witness in land use and land valuation for my government, for the State Department of Transportation. Expert witness, testified in court. And I found out about this because I saw that people were not being able to use their land. And I looked behind that and I found Agenda 21. This is true. Okay, the federal government of the United States is doing this, is in process of creating megaregions, which are essentially crossing national boundaries. This is Cascadia. It used to be a portion of Washington State, Oregon State, Idaho, and Vancouver area, British Columbia in Canada. The Southern California and Texas Triangle areas include part of Mexico. This breaks national boundaries, it breaks state boundaries, it breaks county boundaries. It's also a project of the Ford Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundation. Regionalization and world government. You use trade agreements to destroy boundaries, and you actually cannot make local law that breaks those treaties.
I feel like this goes hand in hand with the Smart City Initiative. They want to pack us into these small urban areas so they can better control and surveil us. But if they ever implement Agenda 21, then I'm moving to Turkmenistan.
It's illegal. It's a federal violation to be in possession of a moon rock, even the smallest particle. You are not allowed to have because you could put it under a microscope and maybe discover things about it. The fact is, von Braun took an unusual holiday 6 weeks before they went to the moon for the first time. You would think he would be practically sleeping at NASA 24/7 to make sure everything worked for the first launch to the moon. But he had enough leisure time left over to make a trip to Antarctica, which is known for having a lot of lunar meteorites. And he collected a bunch of those rocks, and those were submitted as coming from the moon. And some of them are just, false pieces of petrified wood that they assumed would never be opened. That's why it's a federal crime to be in possession of one, because you could prove that some of them are fake.
I don't even think they put that much effort into it. They probably went to Home Depot and bought a bag of black lava rocks and called it a day.
Y'all gonna learn today.
Why does it look like a rat? Look at the eyeballs.
Come on, man.
Everything in this. This is supposed to be sweet and sour chicken.
You sure? I told you. Be careful.
What y'all think?
Just another reason why we should try to raise our own food, grow our own crops, stop relying on the system. There's people saying that there's going to be massive power outages across the United States. I think Canada too. Just grow your own stuff. It's easy to have. If you have a yard, just make a little chicken coop. Have a bunch of chickens. That would help a lot. I'm considering doing it. It's still a lot of work, but it's not that much work. And then it's just in winter, if it's really cold, I would worry about them. To have to set up heaters or something. I know they could probably survive without it. But anyways, it would be cool. And then you have your own food. You don't have to worry about shit like this.
What was that? I told you guys, you better be careful what you eat out there.
I would have to get them shut down if I went in and ordered sweet and sour chicken and left out with sweet and sour Stuart Little.
Scientists just made one of the biggest discoveries ever, and people are losing their minds. So you've probably heard of hydrogel before, which, if you used to play with Orbeez or anything like that, that's what it's made of. And there's many other things that it is used for. Now, we all know the pain of getting a cut, or especially a bad injury or wound. What they do is they plaster it up, they bandage it up, and it's going to take quite a long time to heal, right? Depending on how bad the cut actually is, it can take anywhere from a month, 2 months, even up to a year if it's really, really bad. But scientists at the University of Bayreuth in Germany have just made one of the craziest discoveries ever. And I'm not joking when I say this is literally groundbreaking. What they've done is develop a hydrogel so advanced that it is paper thin, and somehow it mimics human skin. Yeah, in a number of ways such as flexibility and also taking on its healing capabilities. So this tiny thin sleeve that will be put on instead of like a bandage will now be able to heal wounds 90% in 4 hours and fully within a whole day, which is absolutely game-changing for the world. And once this becomes mainstream when they've done more testing, it's insane.
If they release these to the public, every bandage company is going bankrupt. So I can see Johnson & Johnson buying a patent and then shredding it before that happens.
Nothing to see right here. Nothing at all. A plane just spontaneously combusted today in Denver, Colorado, at the Denver airport.
Like that. Oh, what happened?
It's on fire.
And this did just happen to be coincidentally not related. It just happened to be a Boeing plane. Again, not really at all, just giving you the manufacturer of the plane. And also completely unrelated 1000%. Did you know that a plane fell out of the sky in Texas earlier today? Yeah, the same Texas that had green fire and explosions happening underground yesterday. I really do wondering what could be happening to all planes in the air in 2025. This picture is purely for entertainment to get your attention. So what do y'all think about this? Do you intend on flying anywhere in 2025? I know it's been literally months, but I am sure that at some point soon you'll get it figured out, right?
I'm starting to feel like this increase in plane incidents is just a psyop to get us to not fly.
Now that the neighbors haven't said who's home.
I found some big guys.
Much more stable than Robert than the human being.
They're laughing now, but it looks like he just took a snapshot of her face and stored it in the AI database, so when he gets a better body, he's coming for his revenge.
By far, the most chilling experiments we have uncovered took place at this Gothic estate called Ravens Crag, halfway up Mount Royal in Montreal. It houses the Allen Memorial Institute of Psychiatry of McGill University.
It's a psychic driving, so-called type of therapy. He would give the patient intensive electric treatment in order to make the patient regress deeply, become forgetful.
My aunt actually had like mental issues, like bipolar or schizophrenia and stuff, and she actually was in one of those hospitals. I don't know if it was exactly McGill, but yeah, and she got electroshock therapy a whole bunch, but it made her better. So that's the weird part. She felt a lot better actually when she got back from it, but probably just because she forgot everything. And who knows, anyway.
Forgetful. And then he would attempt to implant new ideas in the mind of the patient.
Now, to a layman, it would appear that Dr. Cameron was trying to take the slate and wipe it clean, the slate being the mind. In other words, brainwashing.
Exactly, that's a very good comparison.
Brainwashing.
Yes, true that.
The saddest part about this is that these patients probably came in with a minor mental illness, and after one session with Dr. Cameron, they were full-blown vegetables.
Chaos erupted mid-fight, possibly due to demon possession. So this man's name is Delange Augustin. He's 31 years old, and him and his sister were heading to Haiti to flee spiritual attacks. You're going to hear what this passenger said in a second, but Augustin was yelling, shaking, and stomping his feet before violently kicking a flight attendant in the chest, sending them flying across the aisle into a window. He then destroyed the seat in front of him before attempting to charge toward the cockpit. His sister later claimed he believed Satan's disciples had followed them onto the plane. What's really interesting is Augustin swallowed rosary beads thinking they would protect him, and passengers and the crew worked together to restrain him as the pilots made an emergency return to Savannah, Georgia.
He was talking about devils and possession and it was like, you have to kind of see it to believe it. Destroyed this other man's seat. Like, he kicked it and punched it and just buckled the seat completely over. He just charged the front doors of the plane, like swinging wildly, the bun in her hair, and he grabbed hold of her bun of her hair, and he grabbed hold of her pants and wouldn't let her go. So they tased him once, twice, 3 times. He still didn't let go. At that point, they had to cut the woman's hair to make him let go.
And was arrested while his sister sang what sounded like hymns.
They were possessed. That was a very, very, very disturbing scene. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. That was probably the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
I know it looks like he just went crazy, but I believe that people can be possessed, so you never know. The person in front of him probably reclined his seat back too far and set off the demons.
Hey, Governor DeSantis. Today, when I got up in St. Petersburg, it was clear blue sky, and I started watching all the planes spraying. Now, I know the FAA knows who's flying. I'm pretty sure the governor can figure out who's flying and spraying and creating these fake clouds in the sky. Look. I even got footage of that plane spraying. So, Governor of Florida and Florida officials, what are we doing about this? And why don't you start explaining exactly what it is? Clear blue sky, look at all the lines from the planes. I watched them all, and some of them stop spraying after a while and they restart. Can we have an explanation and a stopping of this, please?
When Brian from Half Baked is calling it out, you know it's bad.
You've heard the theories. The old railroads were not laid, but they were dug up. Look at this big old pile of dirt. I can't help but notice all the pickaxes and shovels for digging. A pickaxe isn't a very useful hammer. Wait a minute, is this tunnel still half buried? Katya, where's that rail track going? Now I'm no scientist, but why is the dirt still flush and level with the railroad ties? Okay, looks like this one is in construction, but where is this railroad going? Into the dirt? Wait a minute, train cars full of dirt and a big old mound of dirt along the sides of the tracks? Reminds me of all these old world buildings that were dug out of the ground. Entire cities under entire cities. You ever wonder why are there tops of windows on the ground? Yeah, tops of windows on the ground. Makes you wonder how tall these buildings really were. I watched a gentleman's video on this topic, and he said that the old westerns, it was always about constructing the railroad, as if they were programming it into the minds of the people. Oh, I've been working on the railroad all the live long day. They just didn't tell you that working on the railroad was taking big old mounds of dirt and displacing it to reveal tracks beneath.
I have issues with that because, like, the railroad had to be at a certain elevation so that it wouldn't get washed out with the rain. They had to layer rocks underneath, dirt, rocks, whatever. So they needed earth. They needed to build the railroad, have it level, etc. So yeah, they needed a lot of dirt to build it. So, like, of course they're going to import dirt, and they're going to have big piles of dirt to have it so that it's flat. If they go through hills and stuff, that dirt's going to be pushed aside. They're going to, like, obviously you need a bunch of dirt and rocks and stuff.
Now, when building railroads, it requires a lot of grading of the landscape to get them as flat as possible. So maybe that's where all the dirt came from. But some of those pictures look more like excavation projects. So he might be right.
Yep, we are all being surveilled right now. And if you see them in your backyard or near your home, it's a dire warning that even running at that point might be too late. People were terrified after a Utah mother went viral for her husband and son seeing something that turned them pale white, as it was something not from Earth, had sharp red stained teeth, and about 3 feet tall, climbing all over the backyard walls, and it was waiting for them to go to bed. Haunting footage shows the mother putting pennies and sports balls all over the yard to try to lure it in, and after just a few minutes, she seemingly saw the pennies stack themselves and the balls disappear.
So we came back from dinner, the ball's gone.
This is just stupid. This is just people on TikTok trying to get views.
And this is what happened with the penny.
With even the neighbors leaving the eerie warning that violent duendes or paranormal gnomes have been spotted there, and they specifically watch us to take children. And since the mother had given them gifts, it's believed the duendes will take this as a welcoming to Earth, and they might not only be here to stay, but their first victim might be this family. The mother's TikTok has since then been completely deleted, and no one has heard from her since.
I was going to say that this story sounds completely made up, but if that was really the case, then why would they feel the need to delete her account?
I sense there's something that is very significant about the western part of the United States. The desert, the Grand Canyon, the rock formations. You think even like Devil's Tower. I think it's in is that Wyoming?
Wyoming, yes.
Different rock formations. Like there's different parts like Arizona. It looks like it's been like a nuclear blast, like more than a nuclear blast. Like what did that? How did the rocks start to look like mushrooms?
And when you get up towards like northern Arizona, like on the way to Utah, there's a bunch of like the structures like you're talking about. Like there's barren land and then it almost looks like ancient towers, like towers or cities that were like
if you look in, crazy thing about like the Grand Canyon is they have like the Temple of Isis, the Tower of Osiris, they have like another temple to Shiva, I think, in there, and it's like they just said some guy just named it that for a reason. Of course. But it kind of does look like there's an entrance to the temple to Isis. Like, what is that place? And then you find out it's off limits. Okay, so now you start to get suspicious, like, all right, okay, well, it's dangerous. It's like, well, people go missing in national parks every day, all day, throughout the country.
Right.
So they're real worried they'll go missing in the Grand Canyon for some reason.
Well, did you know that North America has more cave entrances into whatever you want to call that, whether you want to call it Hollow Earth, Middle Earth, whatever. North America has more entrances than any other continent.
I'm starting to believe that the reason why they chose certain locations to be national parks wasn't to preserve the nature, it was to preserve the narrative.
Mandela effect. I just went down a rabbit hole so that you don't have to. I don't even know what to say about this one. This is a new one on me. Now, Looney Tunes is no stranger to the Mandela effect. But like I said, this was a new one on me, and Yosemite Sam. I have spent many a Saturday morning eating cereal and watching Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny go at it. What is his catchphrase? What is his catchphrase? If you said, "What in tarnation?" You're wrong. What? What? There's even campaigns with it, with carnation milk. What in tarnation? Wrong. There's news articles about it. Where in tarnation? Does the word come from? Rot? Well, I don't know, but Yosemite Sam never said it. Now, I will admit, I am solidly in Gen X, and my memory may not be as good as it once was, but I could swear he said, "Where in tarnation?" Do you remember that? Do you remember him saying that? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
I definitely remember him saying, "What in tarnation?" I'm starting to question my own sanity. Let me know what you guys remember.
We are in control because basically we are not a political organization. We are an occult organization. We're working behind the scenes to manipulate the way that people think. The war that we are waging is a guerrilla war on the human mind. And we use musical frequencies, the dominant frequency, which I've referred to before, and symbolism and imagery to awaken dormant aspects of the human mind. And what we're waging is a cultural war right now on every front, in music, in literature, utilizing the media against itself. And we're using music because that's the instrument that young people respond to right now. We're doing propaganda directly to awaken the wolf in man. Politics is merely the puppet show of human beings, and we transcend that. But we are interested in the control of human beings for our own purpose. We have no concern for the homeless, particularly. We don't have any concern in helping people.
This is coming straight from the horse's mouth. The top 40 Billboard songs right now is like listening to MK Ultra's greatest hits.
My sister just sent me a picture of something that her home video camera picked up while they were away at a softball game. I need somebody to tell me what this thing is.
It could be a hairless cat or some type of dog, but those legs look abnormally skinny to be natural.
On our planet, we have more than 3,554 gates that you can travel from one point to another point in a few seconds. All these gates are ley lines. They are the magnetic field lines from our planet. From these 3,454 gates, there was 12,000 years ago all open, but they have closed them in 3026 before Christ. They have closed all the gates. And why they have closed the gates? It was the last days that the gods were staying on our planet and was going away. And when they was going away, they have closed all these gates. And all these gates today, they are under big temples like we know, like Giza, Angkor Wat, Stonehenge, Avebury, and so on. Under these ancient temples are old accesses to these gates. So the last gates was open on our planet was the gates in Mexico. On different temples in Mexico, we have gates that was not still open after 3026 BC. But on the moment when the reptilians have taken over our planet, the Violet Masters have closed the last gates what was open.
At least one of these gates have to still be open today, and if I happen to stumble across it, I'm diving head first through it.
Oh, mate, we have a piece of footage, from what I can gather, coming out of Brazil of a strange orb-like object floating in the sky, and this was filmed on an S23 Ultra. Look at the state of this object, bruv, right? What is that about, okay? When we're talking about potentially organic type UAP UFOs that exist, what the is that, right? This kind of looks similar to the thing that we saw in Kolkata, India, a little while ago from a distance, okay? But this is zoomed in of some strange activity. I mean, we've got some people saying that this is a hologram, or some people saying this is some sort of nest or some sort of rubbish in the sky, but this thing was floating for a while and then vanished off shortly after. A correlation that happens with a lot of sightings that we come across, okay? And again, making no sound. I do not know, mate. It kind of looks biblical in nature. If I'm going to say anything, it looks like a seraphim almost, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you think, but what the hell?
This one looks a little CGI, but if this is real and this is a seraphim, then that means something biblical is about to happen.
All new at 5, spooky security camera footage.
Yeah, a Metro Atlanta mom says it actually shows her son's ghost. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston spoke with some paranormal investigators to see if it's real or if it's a hoax.
Here in Canton, Georgia, a group of paranormal investigators look into the supernatural. So it was only right that we asked them about what a mom says she saw in her security footage.
It's definitely unexplainable.
A Metro mom says her home security footage captured her son's ghost.
Definitely tell that in the photo there is a human figure.
On Facebook, Jennifer Hodge posted that she was watching TV with her daughter when an alert on her phone said, "Your entryway camera saw someone." Here's what it showed.
No one's around at the time and something gets captured that we can't explain.
Hodge posted that the figure looks just like her son Robbie, who died in 2016. Now, we showed the pictures to paranormal investigators Heather Thompson and Stephanie Forte with Paranormal Georgia Investigations. They agree with Hodge.
Okay, now I'm understanding what she's talking about, but it was definitely a human figure. I mean, there wasn't anything questionable as to, okay, maybe that's a curtain that's billowing, or maybe that's, an appliance. That's definitely a human figure.
The two are part of a group that investigate homes and businesses of those who think they're dealing with the paranormal. They tell me security footage can be helpful, but to confirm, an actual home visit would be necessary.
It's no question that this is a ghost. It looks like her son came back one last time to make himself a sandwich before he crossed over to the other side.
So I have no idea what's going on right now, but check this out. This is not... Go. So check this. What is
travelers? We will soon push on for the Zaba Java Jungle on the back of the giant butterfly. Watch your step and prepare to see flora and fauna like nothing you've seen before.
Yeah, why do I keep running into stuff like this? I want instance.
Where was your mind?
I got things to do. I can't be going in here in these imaginary portals. You let me know in the comments if I should come back here and open that door. So I'll be back here in 4 days.
He must have fell asleep at the airport and snuck his iPhone into his dream. this must be the final evolution of the iPad kid. He might as well be playing Roblox on the Jumbotron. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Another good video from Modtrika. He's awesome. Definitely follow him. And if you can, follow me. I'd appreciate it. Alright, till next time. Peace out.